So today's video is a little different. It's coming up on a Texas summer and I'm sick and tired of having 7 of these running. So I installed that bad boy. I'm not gonna get into the installation and the difficulties of a DIY mini split system, because let me tell you, they're not as easy as you think they are to install. But I was able to do the hard labor myself. I got it hung, I drilled a hole in the wall, went all the way to the brick, and hung this unit up here. But now I've got Colton. Say hi, Colton.
What's going on?
Colton is a HVAC specialist, so you can't really do these yourself. You need someone to pump the system dry.
What's that?
And he's on the phone, so I'll take it over here. But you need someone to pump the system dry, pull all the air out, make sure there's no leaks in it. And then once the system is completely zeroed out, there's no air, no moisture, nothing. We're gonna run that pump for about a half hour. It's holding. First thing we did is we put nitrogen in. The system held 300 PSI for about 10-15 minutes. And now we're sucking a vacuum just to pull all the moisture and pull all the air out. It'll hold below, you couldn't see, but it was at 400 microns. He said anything below 500 microns for about 30 minutes is exactly what we want. And then we're gonna run the 220 or the 240 volt, and this thing will be fired up. Okay, I am happy to report that DELLA HVAC or DELLA Mini-Split, 18,000 BTU, 220 or 240 volt, I don't even know. And it's got the mobile app. This thing is working awesome. So I'll talk a minute about kind of installing it, but for those of you who don't know, I'm building an airplane in my garage. It's now late April and it's already getting warm. It's more humid than warm. I'm in the Austin, Texas area. It's about to get hot. I spent last summer in here. I thought I could do it. I had fans blowing and doors open, and it was just so humid. I mean, I was just sweating like crazy. And then in the winters, it's freezing. So this is a DELLA, like I said, mini split, 18,000 BTU, something, I don't know, 18,000 something. And I got the 240, 220 volt version, and this thing works fantastic. So just a quick kind of install tip. I don't want to get into the details of the installation. It's really not that hard. The instructions suck, but there's plenty of other videos about how to install a mini split. All right, so if you're really paying close attention, you'll notice that last night, or 2 days ago when I filmed that first video, I said installing this mini split sucked and it was really hard. And then I just said the day later, now that it's working and I was nice and cold in my garage, that it really wasn't that hard. Let me just quickly explain what I meant by that. There's certain things you just can't do, and I'll get into that. I mean, maybe if you have the gauges, I'll get into that more in the video. But what I was frustrated with the first night was I had a really hard time finding the electrical connections, and I'll show you that later in the video again. But it was just difficult doing this alone, like just drilling through brick, even though I had like a carbide hole bit for brick and I had a hammer drill and I had all the right tools. It's still just really difficult to do. You can do it. It's not that hard. I was just super frustrated the night before. It was hot. I couldn't find the electrical connections. I had a hard time drilling through the brick. I had a hard time getting the holes to align. I'm just not the best in the world at stuff like this, but you can do it. I don't want to get up on a ladder, but a lot of people had a hard time finding where to put the electrical wiring. When you open up this door, this top, it hinges up. There's a door just kind of below where that 75 is. You open up that door, and then there's another door. And when you open up that door, that's where you run the electrical. And then I kind of bent everything, and I'll show that, pushed it through a hole, and then I hung, as you saw in the other video, I hung the fan unit outside. So here's what I would suggest. Running the 220 or 240, that's gonna be totally up to you. I'm not gonna comment. It was actually very easy, and I kind of wish I did it myself and didn't pay the guy to do it, but I'd never done it before. And I'm glad I saw how to do it, and in the future, I'll be able to do that myself, but I paid him to do it. The part that I don't think you can do yourself, unless you have the gauges, is the releasing of the gas. So while the unit comes with all of the Freon, the 412A or 402A or whatever, 410A, I think, while it comes with all the Freon that you need, you have to suck a vacuum. You have to attach that manifold gauge thing, and put a vacuum on and suck the system completely empty of all moisture, all water, all air, then release the gas. And unless you have a vacuum and the gauges, you can't really do that. It doesn't matter how talented you are. You just have to buy that stuff. Now, you can buy that stuff. I found a kit on Amazon for like 150 bucks. You can get stuff at Harbor Freight. It would be about 200. Or just pay an HVAC guy $200 to do it and know that it's done right. So you can hook up and hang and do all this stuff. You can buy a flare kit at like an auto parts store, and you can cut the copper and flare it and put this nylog stuff on to seal it, and you can torque wrench it, and you can do all that stuff, and then just have an HVAC guy come out. He'll fill the system with nitrogen to about 300 PSI, which is insane. But he filled the system to about 300 PSI. We held it for about 15 minutes. It dropped off like 5 or 6, maybe 10 PSI, which is normal because that just the air is just kind of getting into the little grooves, but that was all. And then we sucked it down to below 500 microns, whatever that means, for about another 15, 20 minutes, and that sucks all the air and moisture and humidity out of the lines. And then you basically close off one valve, and then there's like an Allen wrench where you open it up and it releases all the gas. Close that Allen wrench, make sure that it holds for about 20 minutes again, and then unplug all your stuff. And right now, I have this thing set to 75 degrees. It is blowing cold air in here. It is fantastic. Here's the remote. The remote is great. It also has the mobile app. It has a horizontal swing side to side and a vertical swing, so it just kind of keeps the air flowing in here. I just have it on low at 75, and it feels great in here. And I'm just gonna probably keep it there like 24 hours a day. It's sucking the humidity out of the garage. It's keeping it crisp and cool. And I have a big garage, big 3-car garage. I think about 800 square feet. It's about 775, I think, when I calculated it, close enough. So that was kind of right at the top end of the specs on this, but I gotta tell you, it's working perfect. I love this unit. It was cheap. I paid like $800 for this unit shipped to my door from Amazon. It was like $869 with a $70 rebate. I mean, what a fantastic deal. What a fantastic deal. I do recommend this unit so far. I'm really happy with it. I know in the first video, if I show that, I don't remember when I edited, if I show that part, I was kind of frustrated with some of the work that I had to do on it. But now that I've done it, I think just finding where to put those electrical connections was the only hard part. So love it, happy. Shoot in the comments if you have any questions or anything. I'd be happy to help you. All right, guys, enjoy a cool garage this summer. Bye-bye.